The crystalline throne room of Vextara shimmered with bioluminescent patterns as another suitor fled screaming. Queen Ziraeth stood amidst the wreckage of what had been an ornate ceremonial table, her forearms trembling, her chitinous plates flaring crimson with barely contained fury. "Coward!" she roared, her mandibles clicking in agitation. "Just like all the others." Her attendants cowered behind pillars of living coral. In the past lunar cycle alone, 17 suitors from across the Galactic Council had attempted to court the young queen. 17 had fled. The Vextaran species was dying, their numbers dwindling, their genetic diversity collapsing. Ziraeth needed a mate, needed an alliance, needed something to save her people. But her rage, her grief, her desperation manifested in volcanic outbursts that sent even the bravest warriors running. "Your luminescence," her chief advisor Kithan ventured carefully. "Perhaps we should postpone further courtship attempts." "No!" Ziraeth slammed all 4 fists against her throne, cracks spiderwebbed across its surface. "My people don't have time for postponement. Every cycle we wait, more eggs fail to hatch. More of our children." Her voice broke. She turned away, shoulders heaving. Kithan had served 3 generations of Vextaran royalty. He had never seen his queen weep. "There is one more visitor scheduled today," he said quietly, though not a suitor, a human mechanic from the orbital station. "Something about the atmospheric processors. Send them away. With respect, your luminescence, we need those processors functional. The hatcheries depend on precise humidity levels." Ziraeth's plates dulled to a deep purple, the color of resignation. "Fine, send them in. But only for the repairs." Marcus Webb had been working on the station for 3 years, and he'd learned one critical truth about alien machinery. Nothing was actually broken, it was just misunderstood. The atmospheric processors in the Royal Hatchery weren't malfunctioning. They were receiving conflicting commands from a grief-stricken operator who kept changing the parameters. He entered the throne room with his toolkit, work-stained coveralls, a stark contrast to the ethereal beauty surrounding him. The queen stood with her back to him, silhouetted against massive windows overlooking the twilight sea. "Your Majesty," Marcus said, executing an awkward bow. "I'm here about the processors." "Make it quick, human." Her voice was hollow, empty. Marcus had reviewed the maintenance logs during his shuttle ride down. The processor issues had started 6 months ago, the same time he'd learned that the queen lost her last clutch of eggs to developmental failure. The same time the council had begun pressuring her to form a political marriage. He'd also read about Vextaran biology. They were empaths, their emotional states directly affecting their biochemistry and pheromone output. Stress could literally poison their environment. "Ma'am," Marcus said carefully, setting down his toolkit. "I don't think the processors are the problem." Ziraeth whirled, plates flashing red. "You dare—" "The machines are fine, they're just reacting to conflicting input." He took a step forward. "You're broadcasting distress signals that override the automated systems. The processors are trying to adapt to save the eggs, but they can't compensate for," he gestured vaguely, "for everything you're carrying." "You know nothing of what I carry." Ziraeth's voice cracked like thunder. "My people are dying. I've lost 17 clutches. Every suitor sees only a crown and runs from what comes with it. I am watching my species slide toward extinction, and I am powerless." The throne room trembled. Attendants fled. Marcus could see the queen's plates cycling through colors, red, purple, black, a physiological storm. And then he did something that would puzzle xenobiologists for decades. He walked forward and hugged her. Ziraeth froze. All 4 arms hung in midair. Her mandibles stopped clicking. Human arms, fragile, weak human arms, wrapped around her thorax, completely inadequate to encircle her frame, but trying anyway. "I'm sorry," Marcus said simply, his voice muffled against her carapace. "I'm sorry you're going through this alone." For a moment, nothing happened. Then Ziraeth's plates began to shift, blue, then soft green, colors her attendants hadn't seen in months. Her breathing slowed. One arm lowered tentatively to rest. On Marcus's shoulder, then another, then all four until she was returning the embrace. I can't. She didn't know what to say. No one had simply offered comfort in so long. Every interaction had been political, transactional. Even her advisors maintained protocol distance. You don't have to explain, Marcus said. Sometimes things are just hard. Sometimes you just need someone to acknowledge that. They stood like that for several minutes. Ziraeth's pheromone output gradually normalized. Throughout the hatchery complex, atmospheric processors hummed back into optimal ranges, finally receiving consistent biological data. When Marcus finally stepped back, Ziraeth's plates had settled into a soft silver, the color of calm, of hope. You're not running, she observed. Why would I? You were scared and angry and grieving. That's not something to run from. That's something to help with if you can. But I broke. She gestured at the destroyed furniture. Everything. Stuff breaks. You can fix stuff. Marcus picked up his toolkit. People are harder to fix, but sometimes just being there helps. Now, about those processors. I think they'll work fine now, but I should check the hatchery sensors anyway. If you want. You could show me around? Tell me about your people? Ziraeth looked at this strange, small human who had done what 17 galactic suitors could not. Seen past the crown, past the rage, to the person beneath. I would like that, she said. As they walked toward the hatcheries, Cathan emerged from behind his pillar, mandibles hanging open in astonishment. Perhaps, he thought, humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their warfare. Perhaps it was simply knowing that sometimes someone just needed a hug.